over there in that section
Uh-huh.
ever in your life, then you are lucky. Just because that whole place over there is basically built over top of cemeteries. Not only built over top of cemeteries, but also that's where, in that whole area, anyways, where the Memorial Bridge
Yes.
and all of it is, that's where a lot of the war back into like, uh, oh wow, what war was that? I want to say World War II.
Talking about Southwest Roanoke.
Yes, in Southwest Roanoke. That's where a lot of that war was kind of go through, and that's where they went through back in the day too.
And Roanoke's a Native American word.
Exactly.
So we
Yes.
know we're on
Yeah. So,
native
so, so
land,
you're on some native land, and
especially beside the river. You had to be.
there you go.
Yeah.
And I think with myself too, because I actually have Cherokee inside of me. So then not only have black, but my dad was half black, half Cherokee. So I always feel like I can actually get that. Actually, but I think I can actually kind of get that, that sense of something in, because Indians deal with a lot of, that spiritual meaning inside of the ghost and everything of that nature too.
Yeah.
And I feel it a lot, but I think a lot of my story with that was like, oh gosh, like it was a house that I had got into. It's a duplex. I want to say it was on Day Avenue up over there.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely.
I knew something was weird with it. I called the landlord, and this was probably around, I would say, 7 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during the springtime mainly. So you know how, was it springtime? Because I think once the days where the days get, it gets darker quicker. I put it like that. Well, he didn't go into the house. And this was before I even paid him the money to actually get into the house. He sat there. It was like, if you want to look at the place, there's no lights on. Just you can look at the place. So in my mind, I'm like, why isn't he coming up here? But I didn't care, because I had just moved out. Wanted to move out of my one place. So you have to go into the front door, and then my house was at the top, so you had to take that left and go up to the stairs. I went up to the stairs, and as soon as I opened up the door, and this was before I even rented it felt like I walked through someone. Like an actual, like I felt like my breath was taken away. Not only my breath was taken away, but it almost felt like someone was just like whispered in my ear as I walked through them. I didn't pay it no mind. That's the only thing. I didn't pay it no mind because you know what? I wanted to be into the place. It actually looked good. It had 4 bedrooms.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, hey, like I can use one for an office. I got one for myself, and then my son could be in there too. And then like it was like during that time I was in a relationship, her kids could be in one of the rooms also. But then there was an attic that you could not get into.
Mm-hmm.
And we never questioned them why you couldn't get into it or anything of that nature. So we actually got into the place and everything within a week of us being in that place. Or I was sitting there by myself. This was around 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. It always seemed like that. I heard footsteps running down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like, hey, there's nobody out here but myself. It's just me. But then it wasn't just one footstep. It almost felt like there sounded like 2 kids were running up and down the hallway. And they were just running up and down the hallway. But then not only run up and down the hallway, I didn't pay attention to it again. It seemed like someone walked across my living room, and going into the kitchen, turned the knob on my stove, and then turn it off, and then walk back. I'm sitting there thinking in the house, I'm like, oh wow, like did I just hear that? Like, did I just hear it? So it didn't bother me. So I spoke with her about this, let her know what was going on. I don't know if she wanted me to mention her name or anything. I just mentioned her name, but yeah. And then it was like, I told her the story of what had been going on because she would usually work at nighttime. So then the crazy thing about it was, because I worked during the daytime, she was going, you know what? I was waiting for you to bring up something because stuff has been happening to me during the daytime that I didn't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going crazy about everything, and I didn't think about it. But now that you said something about everything, I did hear 2 kids running up and down the hallway. and then somebody walking across the living room and into the kitchen. But what got her was we were sitting one night. She got off work, and she had worked during the daytime, and I myself didn't have to work during the day. We were laying around kind of watching the movie and everything, and we had a blanket kind of over our front door to kind of get in. So we had we had our door, bedroom door, and then our blanket. It kind of was like pushed in at the bottom, which was wild, because it never happened like that, because after the time we go in, it would completely just go back to where it was. We were sitting there watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, I started to feel like, almost like something was like breathing over top of me. I didn't think about it, but I felt the numbness kind of like going in through my whole body, which was weird. But then what got us both, because it scared us both, it looked like somebody reached their hand up under where that blanket was and straightened it out and pulled their hand all the way down on the blanket. And we both sat there and watched it. And then I think that was probably the scariest that I've ever seen her inside of there. And it happened for 2 days straight. But she didn't want to be in the house by herself after we seen that.
Right.
But I think what really got us was, oh gosh, one night her daughter, because she had at the time that her daughter I think was around 4. Her daughter said she was sleeping in her bed, and she said that she heard an old lady talking. Well, she thought it was her mother talking. Which I don't know, because her mother wasn't that old or whatever it was. We were kind of around like 26, 27, somewhere around there too. She goes, I roll over because it seemed like the lady had leaned over top of me when she was when laying at the bed like that, leaned over top of her and like kissed her on her cheek. And that's what she thought it was her mother. So she said when she rolled over, she said it looked like an older lady. It was just standing in there. Like, man, this girl, like, there's no way. Like, there is no way that could happen like that. But, lo and behold, her mother said that she seemed like she had seen the same thing. An older lady just standing in the middle of our hallway. So there's 2-3 stories that matched up together. So that right there, I already knew everything was kind of like, man, like we got some ghost stuff was going on in here. And I don't think it was just like 2 or 3 of them. It had to be like, almost feel like it was about 6 or 7.
Right.
Because you could hear the different steps. And you could hear 2 kids' steps, which was, the little pity-patting steps. And then the one steps that were going across into the living room, into the kitchen, they sounded a little bit more heavy. Then the one that actually went and dug his hand and straightened up our blanket that was in front of our bedroom door, that one sounded more of like a quiet, kind of like pushy, kind of like, just kind of be quiet, trying to be quiet. But you could feel that sense, I guess, more inside of you, more where it just brought the creeps out of you. Like it felt like it wasn't like a ghost, it almost felt like dark, kind of in a way. What got me one night was I usually like to sit in my bedroom and play the video game. All lights out, all lights, everything just completely dark. The whole house just completely dark. Then I had the 2 candles burning because she had a picture of her father sitting right before we got into the door, right as soon as you got into the door. And the candles basically were right beside it. I was playing a video game, and I almost feel like something was breathing on the side of my face. And like it not only breathing on the side of my face, but it got hot. Not only hot, I started to get that like, almost like that, I don't want to say it's like a shiver, kind of in between of everything. And I still didn't pay no mind. I just didn't care. I was like, God, like I already know it's up in here. But what got me in general with any of this stuff was it felt like it was starting to get hotter on this side, on my left side. I turned and looked to the left, and it looked like an apparition of her father standing right at the front door of our bedroom. And it was just standing there just looking at me. So, like, I mean, and I felt it as soon as I looked at him. It's like a whole, like, I guess nervousness kind of came over to my body because you see, like, I'm kind of a little shaken down a little bit from it because it was like it didn't bother me still, but at the same time it took me back because this is stuff that I only would see on TV.
Right.
But I knew being in that old Southwest over there in Roanoke, I knew that being over there, there had to be some type of hauntings and some type of ghost and some type of everything that went on up over there. And it was a lot worse than what we actually thought because that whole house was kind of bad. And what we didn't realize until like 6 months, we didn't know that the landlord's daughter lived downstairs below us. And we were asking her some things about what was going on. And so finally, that's when we kind of learned, no wonder the landlord didn't go in there because there were not only, and it felt like they went everywhere besides into our bedroom. It almost seemed like that was probably the place that something that actually happened in that bedroom. Because the ghosts would go everywhere in the house, but not our bedroom. And the lady goes, well, I think a guy back, in like old times, I want to say in like maybe early 1900s, whatever it was, or something like that, he had killed his whole family. 2 kids, his wife, and his mother.
Oh my goodness.
And then killed himself.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I just got chills. I just got cold chills. Oh my gosh.
So not only were you dealing with that part of it, like I said, just that whole area around there anyways, wars came through there.
Right.
That war came through there. So not only was you dealing with that part of it, you were dealing with probably like old like soldiers that were kind of in there that got killed and everything of that nature. So it was something that she had moved out, I guess, 3 years after we had moved in there, because that's when we had split up during the part. So I stayed in an extra 2 years, and it almost felt like it got worse. I was in there by myself.
I almost feel like her father was a protector. She lit the candle for him. He showed up. Do you think that he was looking out?
I think so, my own self, because it felt like every time when we were in there, it felt like it was a darkness of the spirit of that nature. But then it almost felt like too that like every time she was in there, or every time that when she was in there, even when I was in there, it felt like something would kind of come over to make it, I guess, feel like it kind of calming, whatever, in a way. But it did feel like a darkness. It was like even from the time that we had walked in there to look at the place, up until we ended up moving completely. But that's definitely not the only story. I actually lived in a house up over here in Salem, off of Colorado Street.
You want to take a walk through the cemetery?
Yes, we can.
God bless these hallowed grounds. Cemeteries don't scare me.
Cemeteries do not scare me either. That's the whole thing about it. I would rather come through a cemetery at nighttime than during the daytime, just because that's where I feel like it's more of a resting period for a lot of things that are going on. And someone asked me to, before, I've been asked a couple of times, like, would you ever work in a cemetery? Why wouldn't I?
Right.
Why wouldn't I want to work
Probably
in a
one of the
cemetery?
safest places you...
There you go. Exactly. Everything's so peaceful. The only thing bad about that is that you could probably get something attached to you that's someone that may not have crossed over or anything of that nature, and you can take it home with you.
You believe in that?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
I always believe if there is a God, then there's definitely a devil. If there is a light with a ghost, then there's definitely a darkness with a ghost. So, I mean, I definitely believe in a lot of that stuff. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, though.
No, most conspiracies aren't conspiracy.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. But when it comes to stuff like this,
Look how old that is. God
Yeah.
bless it.
Yeah.
That's an old grave marker.
Uh-huh. Sometimes people aren't ready to cross over.
I think so too. I think that sometimes they don't even know they're dead.
It depends on how you do go out. That's the thing about it. If it's more traumatizing, people could just be there and just want to just be stuck in the middle of that light.
Right.
Then again, when it comes to a lot of older counties or cities, you have places out here that are completely maybe haunted everywhere. Because I really feel like a lot of these houses, anyways, are built over top of sacred grounds.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't really actually understand that when your house gets built, if you get a house that was built in like the 1900s or even late 1800s, majority of the times you're going to have something in there. It just depends on if you paid any mind or paid attention. You're going to have something inside of there. I normally am the one that don't care because who am I going to bother you? I would want you to feel like you are still at peace.
Yeah.
Even around me, because it's you. It's your property. It's your area. But I do believe in things like there could be things could pass through you, and it can probably make you. It can make you angry. It can make you peaceful. It could make you almost like so they can know that you're there.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention, but it depends on what type of spirit that you do have.
Right.
That's the thing.
Everything is energy, and energy never dies.
Energy never dies. And dealing with that a lot over there on that side where I was at, like I said, it felt like it was more of a darkness inside of that place over there on Day Avenue. It felt like a dark spirit. And
Which way are we going? We're gonna turn back around, or keep going?
We can turn back around, or we can turn back around, or we can go this way. Just back this way. I would say it's the whole neighborhood.
Okay. Well, whatever you want.
Let's come back this way.
Okay. Hopefully my bag isn't bothering people.
I don't think so. I don't think anybody would actually hear.
So I've like called on to spirits. Look at the mountains, it's beautiful. And have told them that they've passed and that it's safe to go into the white light of the Holy Spirit. It's safe to cross over. But it is their choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think some spirits stay to be guardians of the land. Does that make sense?
That makes a whole lot of sense because it's their home, and if they passed away on their home, I mean, of course they're gonna want to protect it, and like you said, be a guardian of it. It definitely. I believe in anything, and again,
Anything is possible, right?
anything's possible out here.
It's possible.
Anything is possible. And it's like I don't try to actually deal with it or even try to dip my nose into it.
No, but if they're breathing on your face, come on now.
But still, I'm one of those. I'm like, all right, I can take it.
Yeah.
You can breathe on me. I'm not even gonna act like you're there. Just breathe on me, but I don't care.
Okay.
But I love haunted houses.
Yes.
Not only will I love haunted houses, if you send me into a place right now that I know that is completely haunted, I'm going to walk in it at like the darkest time of the night.
Right.
Because I mean, what?
We should do a ghost tour.
I'm down for that. I mean,
I have a friend that has one of those readers.
really?
Yeah.
Like those like meter?
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Huh?
What do you call it? EVP or something like
EVP.
that? Yeah.
EVP.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
And some people try to use it on their phone, but like that's just not the same.
No, I don't think so either.
No, that's just not the same at all.
But they are like hypersensitive to like power spots and stuff. So like it went off the charts when it got near a Wi-Fi box. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, but yeah. We should do that one day. That would be cool. We got St. Albans. I've never been there.
Same albums?
Uh-huh.
Where's that?
It was the old psychiatric hospital.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that.
They do haunted houses there every year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know up there in Buena Vista, or near the Buena Vista area, there is a haunted house up there that is completely, it's a psychiatric center. But you can tell that too, that it's completely closed and everything of that nature. Nobody goes up there. But I would love that.
Yeah.
I put it like that. Anything spooky like that, I would love. Because even up over here, when I lived up over here at the Colorado Avenue or Colorado Street, that one seemed like it was more of like I guess kind of like calming, maybe like fun, kind of like, hey, we're gonna just like knock on something real quick and then that's it.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was, would breathe or even try to do anything of that nature. To want to get your attention, but to know that, look, this is our house. We're still here, kind of like what you said, the actual, like, I want to protect this property still, because it's mine.
Yeah.
But I think my worst one definitely was up over there at that Day Avenue.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Like, and this was like from day one into the time I left. So basically, it was 4 years of dealing with that dark spirit.
Did you ever try to pray it away, or?
You know what? The last 6 months that I was in there, I kind of looked up everything. I was told that you could sprinkle salt at the beginning of the doorways. And so I ended up doing that. I sprinkled salt on each doorway because there was a lot of rooms in there. So it was like I went by each room.
Yeah, those houses are huge in Old Southwest.
Of course, and a lot of people don't realize that too. Like a lot of those houses up over there, that was actually a rich neighborhood back then. You had to be. It was a real rich, kind of like influential neighborhood where you had to have money, and then all of a sudden, I think what actually is up over there too was because Roanoke City in that area, they caught the bird flu. It was the bird flu that went on up over there. And I know I think 100 and something people or 200 some people had passed away from it. So that's when you had people come over here, navigated up over here to Salem, or even to like these surrounding areas, even in the county. So it's like a lot of those houses up over there probably have, ghosts and everything just from that part of it too, with that bird flu and everything. So it's like that whole situation over there in Roanoke City. And I believe it's everywhere, but in that area is definitely just either haunted or just a ghost in general.
Yeah, I used to volunteer at the Preston House in Salem.
Yeah.
And that's actually the oldest house in Salem. And there were definitely spirits in there.
Yeah.
And I got the feeling that some of them had died from maybe smallpox. And one time I was volunteering, I was in the house by myself, and I was upstairs and I heard someone whistle, and then I heard them say hello.
Yeah.
And then I said hello, and I went downstairs and no one was there. So yeah.
See, I would have loved that.
That's
the thing. See, and I would have loved that. See, that might just be my creepy, side of everything.
No, I love the paranormal stuff. Like you remember Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack?
Yes.
That was my jam.
And
he was so creepy.
His voice was made that actually creepy every single time that it went on. So it's like, yeah, he knew how, or they actually knew the actual right person to actually get that shit.
Right, it was incredible. Incredible.
I loved it. Even till now, I mean, I would love to kind of go into, and like we were kind of talking about just a few minutes ago, the psychiatric ward is probably the one that I would actually want to go into.
Yeah.
This is an abandoned one out here.
Yeah.
An old hospital, regular hospital. Definitely would like to go up inside of there. But I think there's a couple of houses up over here too. I want to say off of Main Street. I can't remember the actual name of the street, which it's I think right beside South Broad Street or South Broad Street. Uh, there's like 3 houses in a row that are abandoned, and you can tell they're old Victorian homes.
Oh, wow.
And you can, every time you go past that and you walk past there, it always feels like there's something like just staring at you, and just inside of there, just waiting for you to come in. But those houses have never been rented out. They have never been remodeled. They have never been any of that. And this has been ever since I was in school, and even up until this day, because I just went there. I want to say this last week, and those houses are still the same. Nobody's ever rented it. Nobody's ever gone into it, but you can still feel that something is sitting there watching you. Something is sitting there just waiting for you. Just like, come on, like come
I
on
love
in here
it.
and figure out what's going on. But yeah, I mean, it's dealing with something of that nature. Like I said, you have to be careful on what you do though. Because you do have the nice, but then you have the bad, and then if you have the bad that attaches onto you, you can have that for a long time, and you can get into some bad, bad demonic stuff, and that's that kind of catch-22 when you kind of deal with ghosts and everything of that nature.
Yeah.
Because you can have a nice one, but a demonic one that's pretending to be nice.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Use your discernment. Pray.
Yes.
I think that, God will fight our battles for us, but we have to have the faith the size of the seed of a mustard seed sometimes, you know. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have that, then if you don't have any type of faith in any of that nature, dealing with something like that, it's going to make you have some faith.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to...
You're going to need it.
You're definitely going to need it.
You want to walk down this way?
Yes, we can.
Let's do it.
You have to. I mean, and I love that, though. You can tell that someone came here and just placed flowers right there.
Yeah, that's a really old grave marker. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let's see. Something Warren. But these are old.
Seem like all of them are.
Yeah, these are some really old ones. Well, they have the reenactments at Gettysburg, and that place is haunted. Like, soldiers will show up for real.
Yeah, of course. I've been up there to Gettysburg a couple of times.
Did you have any haunts or anything?
I think it's a lot better during the daytime than it probably would be at the nighttime. So I mean, I'll put it like that because you already know that you're going to run into something up there anyways, just because you already know Gettysburg War.
Right.
A lot of that stuff that's going on up there, so you're going to have spirits everywhere up there. Probably even goes back to that mean spirits. But I never had any experience up there, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad you didn't. If you're glad that you didn't. I prefer to be with someone when I see or hear ghosts, because then I know, okay, that wasn't an illusion. That wasn't just my mind playing tricks on me, So it was cool for you to tell me in your story that you had validation that, like, they were experiencing the same thing. And when you do deal with something like that, you might feel crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't, because I actually believed in stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, if I hear it or I see it, if I hear it or I see it, then I know what I heard and I saw.
Right.
And I know what I feel.
I love your confidence. Me, I'm like, did I have a stroke? Did that happen?
But some people, they'll be like, oh, am I crazy? Did that just happen? But I'm glad that I actually brought it up to her, during that time. And it was like, look, this is what went on, and it's kind of crazy. But then she was like, I was waiting for you to say something, because I didn't want you to think that I was crazy to tell you that I just dealt with something when you wasn't here. And it got so bad one time that I actually had to go out of the house and wait for you to come home when you got off of work. And I was like, look, I don't know what you dealt with in here, but I know what I dealt with.
Yeah.
And what I dealt with is I think that it felt like it was more dark. And I think hers too, like you were kind of saying, it was more dark, but then also her dad was around.
Well, and the grandmother that kissed the little girl, I feel that she had to have been a good entity.
I think so myself, because I think she was more of the caring one because it was the mother of everything, and I think it was the guy's mother.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say that she think that she was actually, that was her grandbaby
Probably.
there, and she was still inside of it. And it's wow. When the daughter said that, I was like, yeah, we definitely have ghost land up in here, and we definitely have ghosts everywhere.
Well, yeah, and children when they're like 3 and 4, they're wide open. They don't have a veil over their eyes yet, and they can see more than we can.
Yep. And I know she also had a son that was in there too, which I myself, him and I dealt with that same thing, where it seemed like somebody was running up and down the hallway and everything of that nature. But he said one night he himself had to go use the bathroom. He's like, I gotta go use the bathroom real bad. And that's how he said it to me. But he said as soon as he rolled over to go out and use the bathroom, it seemed like somebody ran past his house, ran past his bedroom door real quick.
What?
So we were wondering why he was peeing in the bed.
Yeah. Because he wasn't going to do that again.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I didn't want to go out there just because I felt somebody was running up and down the hallway, and my brother was laying right beside me.
Right.
I'm like, wow, yeah. So when you start hearing these things, you realize that you're not crazy.
Right.
And it didn't bother me as much as what it bothered them. And I think that's what bothered her the most about that, because it didn't really bother me. Like I was just, like, what can we do?
Right.
I mean, I believe in this stuff anyways, and what could we do about that?
Right.
Even you said like you could pray it, you could lead them to the light by prayer. But to me, I was like, look, it's her property. Why do I want to?
Yeah.
Why do I want to tell you to get out of something that you have probably been here for hundreds of years?
Right.
Even before me. And with my nonchalantness, and I would even like that too, nonchalantness. I think they were kind of like just getting tired of me the most, because it's like, this dude's not even paying attention to us.
He's not even phased.
Yeah. So we have to do something every single day so this dude would actually understand that we're in here.
Oh no, I'd be out there with the Palo Santo, the sage, the holy water, the oil, the salt, the incense, the ancestors,
Hey,
all of it.
I loved it though.
No, we lived on 8.5 Street in the Southeast, and my mom was in the dining room, and she seen this little girl just come through, and she was dancing, and she looked over at my stepdad, who had like a tank top on, and she put her hand over her mouth and giggled like it was inappropriate to see him not fully dressed. And I was thinking, how cute is that? But my best girlfriend had a dark shadow standing in the doorway watching her while she was in bed.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I hope that she tells that story. But yeah, those old houses, especially Southwest, I mean probably everywhere, right? But
everywhere, but Southwest is actually
in Southeast, and yeah, it was Southeast is where it happened on that one.
Southwest is probably the worst parts of there, because that's where a lot of that, like I said, the war kind of went through. But it really went through that southwestern part.
Yeah.
From Memorial Bridge to Memorial Bridge. Went down that way, basically south.
We're gonna be seeing some new age ghosts soon.
They're gonna
the 1900s. The ghost of 1989.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you. I'm telling you.
I mean, who knows? It's incredible. But thank you so much for sharing that with me. Reggie, I would like to ask you, what is your message to the world? If you could give the world one message, what would it be?
I would say just learn how to develop kindness. I mean, kindness can be hard. But at the same time, you know, what you kind of go through in your life is what you're actually meant to deal with in life. Uh, but it doesn't hurt to be kind, or at least try to be kind.
It's free.
Uh, it is definitely free. Um, have some type of just care. You know, I mean, we're all are different, but we are all the same at the end. No matter we're white, black, orange, green, purple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just don't think that you have to be perfect in society. Realize that if you make mistakes, then mistakes are just going to be made. It should never be something that's going to hold you back to want to do something different, to want to actually change you. Not only change you, but try to change someone else. Uh, Even though it may be hard, but at the same time, you know, if you can't love yourself too, try to dig in and love yourself a little bit more than what you can. Because once you love yourself, then you realize that loving someone else more is a lot easier than everything. So I think that would be my message to the world. And just realize that we're all going through some type of issue, no matter who you are, what you do, or anything of that nature. If we can just pull together to bring us into some type of just understanding, then I think that we would be not a better world, because I don't think there's ever going to be a better world, but better human beings to make this world a lot better. Put it like that.
Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your vulnerability and your honesty. And maybe we can do another one sometime.
Absolutely, I would love that.
Thank you so much, Reggie.
Thank you.